Hey, everybody. Hey, hey, hey. Good afternoon. God bless you and welcome to Joy Life Center. I'm Andrea Jackson, your life coach, and welcome Joy Life Center Coaching and Consulting. I'm sorry you couldn't be here to join our group today, but I'm so happy that you subscribe to our channel so that you can get the groups when you need it, how you need it. So there's people that's waiting to be admitted in. So we're going to go ahead and admit them in. So I'm so glad you're here today. Hold on a second. We're going to let some others in.
Good morning. God bless you.
Good morning. Good morning, Sister Lorena. God bless you. God bless you. Who else do we have on the line? Look like someone else is trying to connect. We're going to get started in just a second. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Miss Bianca. God bless you. God bless you.
God bless you.
We're going to wait just one more moment to see if there's any others chiming in. We have an awesome topic today that we're going to talk about: red and green flags. Red and green flags. There's in going into our change, overcoming compulsive behaviors, overcoming addictive behaviors, overcoming any unhealthy behaviors. We have to realize that we have to find out what's our red flags and what's our green flags. We're going to go into that in a little bit. Let's see, just going to allow another moment. I know a few people called in saying they were going to be late today, and that's great. But we're not gonna allow too much time to pass. We're gonna go ahead and jump right in. How about that? We're gonna jump right in. So good morning to you. Excuse me, good afternoon to you guys. Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Joy Life Center Coaching and Consulting. I just want to share with you that this is a Monday, and lots of people are saying, oh my goodness, Mondays are terrible. But guess what? It's what we make it. It's what our life experiences have taught us. So if life experience have taught you to hate Mondays, or, oh my God, the beginning of a week, or I'm so tired and gloomy. If life has taught you that, what are we going to implement with that? What are we going to do to change our attitude about the days of our life? Because definitely it is a day of our life, and we do want days because they add up to life. So today we're going to be talking about those red and green flags. But before we do that, let's get into our check-in. I think Sister Lorena was our first caller on this afternoon. Sister Lorena, go ahead and check in, please.
Good afternoon. I'm in a better state, this emotional state today.
Excellent.
And I don't know, I'm prepared to hand things over to God. So I'm good.
Hey now. Hey. I like that, because even though that's something that we say we're going to do, but I like how Sister Lorena said, I'm prepared now to hand some things over to God. I love that, because sometimes it takes preparation to release, to separate from. So I love that. Thank you, Sister Lorena, for kicking us off. Let's see, Bianca, good afternoon. Go ahead and check in.
Good afternoon. I'm doing well today. Doing well mentally, physically, emotionally. Thank you.
Awesome. Glad that you're doing better. I know, I think it was Friday, you just checked in okay, but by the close of the day, you were good. So I'm glad to hear that you're well. So today, again, we're going to talk about red and green flags. And I want to read a quotation to you. And I hope maybe you've heard it sometime in somewhere down throughout life. But this quotation, I'm going to read it to you, is from a 20th century American writer named Portia Nelson. Now, hold on with me now, because this is not a simple brief one. I want us to really hear it and imagine it and walk in our perception of it and just kind of think of what you want to say at the close, how you interpret it. So we're going to go ahead. And it's called Chapters of My Life. Chapter 1. I walked down the street and I fell into a deep hole. I couldn't get out and I couldn't figure out why. It wasn't my fault. It took a long time to get out. Chapter 2. I walked down the sidewalk and I fell into the same hole. I couldn't understand. It wasn't my fault. I really, really, really had to struggle to get out. Chapter 3, I walked down the sidewalk. I fell into the same hole again. This time I understood why, and it was my fault. This time it was easier to get out. Chapter 4, I walked down the sidewalk. I saw the same big hole. I walked around it and I didn't fall into that hole. Our fifth and final chapter, I chose another sidewalk. So with life experience, it gives us the experience, if we learn from the experience, to make a better decision for ourselves. In chapter 1, we didn't even understand that why I fell in this hole. It's not my fault. Woe is me. And you're going to struggle to get out because you don't see what you need to correct. Once falling in the hole again in chapter 2, they begin to identify, maybe I do have something that I can do about it. By chapter 3, I recognize that it is my fault. I understand a little bit more now. And so now that with understanding and identification, I can do something about my problems. With understanding and identification, we can now take a suitable choice of change. We can take a road of change. We can make a different decision. We can connect with something or someone that's going to help us from making that same mistake over and over. So as the quotation said, by chapter 4, I learned to walk around things. I learned to walk around the hole. I learned how to deal with the situation. I learned how to not deal with the situation. But by chapter 5, I don't need to deal with the situation at all. I'm going to choose another sidewalk. And with life, we do mature and we see things different. So that's a great thing. And I love this chapters of your life. So I want to ask you, ladies, what is it that you perceived from the quotation that was read today? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
This is Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I've gotten out of the quotation is that we make mistakes. We make mistakes, and sometimes we don't realize the mistakes that we make. But once we come into the acceptance of the mistake, or the acceptance of, you know what, I keep doing this same thing. It's not so much that somebody is doing it to me or anything like that. I'm doing it. So
Right.
once we come to that acceptance, then we should have a whole new way of looking at the situation. So no longer would it be that I don't know, or no longer would it be that, woe is me. I accepted this, so now I need to find a way in order to better my situation, which that when I walk down the street again, I know that there's a hole right here. And
Yeah,
so I know I see it, I understand, I'm going to walk around it. I see that I have problems, I have issues. I'm going to start working on it. I'm not going to just
yeah,
continue to let it be and not do nothing about it. And then by this chapter 5, you know what? I realized that no longer am I going to just see it and work on it, but you know what? There's other ways that I
mhm,
can get around this. I
yeah.
don't even have to walk this path. So
I don't have to go that way. That's awesome. And you see how life's experiences, if we actually take a look at the life experience and we allow ourselves to learn and grow from them rather than repeat them with no new knowledge, how it can help us. So Lorena, did you have an interpretation that you wanted to share?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
What I got out from it is that sometimes we're not aware of our surroundings. We're not aware of what we're getting into.
Okay.
Just either uneducated or just ignorant to it and blind.
Mhm.
But as we continue to go through it, we kind of get an awareness like, wait, why am I here again? How did I get here again?
What
And I know the hole is there, and eventually I find a way around it because now I'm aware.
Yes. Wow, that was powerful. Sometimes we have no awareness. Sometimes we're ignorant of things, meaning we just don't know. And so we can't see it. We can't identify what we've never been familiar with. We don't know. So that's excellent. Ladies, thank you so much. That is perfect. Today, we're going to talk about acknowledging those red and green flags. Red flags mean danger, danger, stop, don't go any further. This is bad and it's bad for you. You remember what happened last time. You've had years of suffering, months of suffering, decades of suffering, whatever the situation was. No, let's not go this way again. Flaring danger signs, but there are some signs that we don't see, and we make the same mistake because we didn't recognize the sign. We don't recognize the red flags. We don't recognize the cues that come to let us know this is not worth repeating. This is about to happen. Danger is ahead. Have you ever been traveling and you began to see those yellow signs that said construction work ahead? Construction work ahead. Those signs let us know, okay, I can make a choice now that I'm going to turn off, or I'm going to tread lightly. I'm going to be careful, or at least I'm aware that above me, ahead of me, there's going to be some things that may cause me some distress. So I'm going to enter into them cautiously. So I'm really looking at these red flags as being very helpful to us. And when we're changing these compulsive or unhealthy behaviors, we find that knowing the red flags, we talked about triggers, knowing the triggers, knowing the red flags, knowing the red flags of thought, knowing the red flags where my mental health is concerned, knowing the red flags of my physical health, knowing the red flags of family and friends, maybe who maybe Uncle so-and-so is a red flag to me. It always goes bad after that. It always derails from that. I'll always continue or relapse or reestablish a footing in my old behaviors that I'm trying to move away from, that I'm trying to discontinue. So when we find ourselves in that space, we have to look back. Remember, when we find ourselves in those relapsing moments or in those moments where we're doing things that's not quite pleasing to us, then we have to realize, how did I get back here again? How did I get back here again? We've learned to identify triggers. We've learned how to practice self-talk. We've talked about our boundaries that must be established. So now, once we get here, we find that there's something that I have to do. I have to identify. I have to be aware, like Sister Lorena said. So now, today, we want to walk in awareness of those red flags. We want to walk in awareness of what's going on, because when those red flags happen, have you ever, for example, have you ever been dating someone and maybe that person start showing some obsessive behaviors, or they start ordering for you without asking you what you would like? Maybe they began to talk about things that that you didn't really care to talk about, because you know that those things, because our past history speaks. We know that's one thing about our errors of the past. That's one thing we know about history teaches us, so that when we're making decisions for the future, we're understanding what not to do or what we may need to do in order to stay safe. So when we start identifying some of those red flags, it's up to us at that point to decide, what do we need to do at this moment? What do I need to do to stay safe? Maybe I may need to just end this date, end conversations with this person altogether. Maybe I need to correct this right here. No, I don't talk about that. Let them know your healthy boundaries. Or do I sit there or stand there and allow it to continue? Do I allow it to continue to the point where now I'm in danger? I'm going to read off some red flags and some green flags. We're going to read off some red flags, like, if this happens, what do I have to do to put myself back in safety? Now, you know what? One of those things we want to know is, where can I find help? When a red flag occurs, I want to know, where can I find help? Can I show you where you can find help? At Joy Life Center Coaching and Consulting. That's a safe place. That's a safe place. So we want to encourage you to find your safe places. Now I'm going to read to you. Red flag. This is danger. This is making you aware danger is ahead. Isolation. When you start to isolate again, not taking care of your body. You notice yourself fighting with people. Destructive behavior. Now I'm gonna read some green flags. What's something that I could do when I'm in isolation, when I see that isolation coming? What I could do is do the reverse of that. Spend time with supportive friends. When I'm isolating and I identify that that's a red flag, and if that's a red flag for you, then guess what? I need to take action. We talk about faith and we talk about works. So now faith without works is void, is dead. So therefore, when isolation hits, instead of just saying, well, I'm believing God, I'm believing my higher power, I'm believing for a change, what works are we going to do? Whenever we find some dangerous red flags that's letting us know that danger is ahead, it's time to make a decision to do something. If construction is ahead, I'm going to either turn off, or I'm going to prepare myself. I'm going to put an extra layer of safety and cautiousness upon myself, because I'm going through some I'm treading through some territory that may cause relapse. So what I'm going to do about it? So if I find myself isolating, maybe I can spend time with supportive friends or with supportive people, because maybe they're not friends. Maybe the supportive people that you have in your life, maybe your supportive people that you have in your life are maybe treaters, maybe you're therapists, they're your counselors, they're your life coaches, there's your case managers, whoever they are. Maybe they're professionals in your life that you have. Maybe you could talk to someone that's in your supportive circle. What about not taking care of your body? Well, let's stop. Let's recognize I'm taking care of my body, and let's make a different decision, and let me choose to take care of myself. Choose when I identify that I'm going in that area, I have to choose to take care of myself now. What about if you notice that you're fighting with people? What I have to do then, I have to do what's necessary that I'm able to get along. What's going on with me? Why am I feeling so irritated? Why am I picking and nagging? Why am I so particular about situations? What's going on with me? And listen to yourself. Remember, take that compassionate, open, non-judgmental ear to yourself and say, hey, what are my needs? Why am I so picky today? Why am I starting fights today? What's going on with me? And take care of yourself. If you need to eat, if you need to go take a nap, if you need to rest, if you need to go make up with a friend, if you need to forgive someone, if you need to speak with your therapist, call and make an appointment. See, if you need to call a 1-800 number, a 1-800 counseling number, suicide number, substance abuse line, whatever it is that you need. If you find yourself, you start seeing the red flags that you're discontent, you're insatiable, no one's able to satisfy you. Oh, would you like a dinner plate? You know, you take the dinner plate and it's not good enough. You complaining and murmuring. They're like, okay, we're going to stay away from her. We're going to stay away from him. What can we do to take care of ourselves? Because that is a danger zone. Another thing, when we're talking about red flags, destructive behavior, when we're looking at those, what can we do? What are the green flags? When we see ourselves in destructive behavior, what's going on with me? That compassionate self-talk, so that we can take ourselves from that danger into now that safe place. Hello, hello, hello. Make sure you put your phone on mute. Mute your background. Thank you so much. And if you can't, I can do it for you because it sounds like you're driving. There we go. And please, please, please just unmute whenever you're ready to jump in and share. We're talking about red and green flags. We're talking about those signals, those cues, those signs, those red flags that we can identify, that before we go into full-blown relapse, those danger signs that let us know danger is ahead, because we have lived this life. We've had some history and we've had some example and some experience in our old unhealthy behaviors. So rather than relapsing in those unhealthy behaviors, what we want to do today, we want to make sure that we want to make sure that we can identify when we're about to go into that dangerous territory, so that we can make a decision. We can make a decision. Now that I see that there's danger ahead, now that I see that red flag, let's say maybe it's a time of season. Christmas is coming up. Thanksgiving is coming up. The holidays are coming up. For many people, that's a red flag. That's a red flag to my mental health. That's a red flag to my emotional health. So therefore, what can I do about it? So those are the things we're talking about, identifying our red flags and not ignoring them, not ignoring the red flags, but we want to see how we can put ourselves in safety. Okay, so out of the ones that we just read, have anyone experienced those as red flags? Are any of those things we just read red flags? Unmute your phone and share, and let me know, what do you do to put yourself in safety? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share. Okay, we'll read some more. So we talked about isolation. We talked about when we're not taking care of our bodies, when we're fighting with people. What about too much free time? You know, sometimes having too much free time is a warning sign for maybe yourself that, okay, when I get like this isn't good for me. When I have too much free time, that can be a trigger for me to use, a trigger for me to go and operate in other compulsive behaviors, a trigger to enable people. I want to go overly assist in someone else's life because I'm not happy unless they're happy. You know, maybe it's a trigger to having unsafe sex, whatever it is. When you're having too much time, a more safer place to put yourself in when we have too much time is maybe have a structured schedule. Maybe that's the time that I need to take a moment and structure my day, structure my time, so I can have some structure in my day. We want to find out, what is it that I need to do if I have too much downtime? What is it that I need to do to add structure? And with this structure, I'm not just occupying it with just stuff and things, but I want to also occupy it that it occupies my time, but that it occupies my time taking me forward in the place and in the direction that I would like to go. What about feeling stuck? Have you ever just felt stuck? Well, for some of us, that's a red flag. And if we don't do anything about that feeling that we're having, that feeling we're experiencing at the moment, we'll find ourselves relapsing in our old unhealthy behaviors, old ways of coping because we're feeling stuck. We could possibly go into depression over sadness. We can go into just occupying our time with things that are unhealthy for us. So when we're feeling stuck, we have to do something in order to feel like you're moving forward. What is it that you do to change that state of being from that place of being stuck to moving forward? Anyone, please unmute your phone and share.
About that stuck place. Now that's a tricky one right there. I didn't catch the whole thing, but I understand isolation because I've been living pretty much an isolated lifestyle for a long, long time, to where it's my normal. I don't always like it, but I don't know if it's safe or if it's the best I can do in my circumstances. I don't know, because ain't nothing social popping off in my world. Uh, a lot of my recovering acquaintances, they do other things, but that's not my portion in
Right.
life. I don't do like they do. They all up at the Regency West doing Taco Tuesday. I don't do that.
Okay.
That stuck place. Um, it's tricky
Mhm.
and it's dangerous. But like I said, that for me, uh, those relapses, like the depressions,
Mhm.
no, no, no. I find a better way to fight depression uh, than in holiday stuff. I used to really kind of go off on, because I spent most of my holidays and birthdays, all of that was spent alone.
Okay.
I may not have liked the whole situation, but I had to learn that, didn't you survive that?
Right.
Did you have fun? Nope, I didn't. I hated it. But I survived it, and I didn't pick up a drink or a drug, you know. And like with me, as an older lady in recovery, that I don't know what to do. I really don't. I really truly, I don't know what to do as far as my personal life. I really don't. I have no clue. I have no clueless incompetent. I don't know what to do. So, but I know not to pick up. And also, I know like recently I had something happen and I was in an area I'm not familiar with, but I immediately looked on the phone and found an AA meeting, and I went to a
Excellent.
meeting, and I know how to get in the middle of the herd.
Yes. You know how to put yourself in safety. I love that. I love that. And that's what it's all about, is knowing where it is that I can find safety, where it is that I can go, what state of mind, what technique I need to do to put myself back into a safe place until I can move my physical self to that safe place. That's excellent. I love that. Like you said, when I found myself on unfamiliar grounds, I know where I can go for safety. And thank God AA is worldwide. So you can call, if you're in Hawaii, you can call and find a meeting. I love that. I love that. And staying connected to the supportive systems, because sometimes we feel like, okay, I'm in safety today, so I don't need that anymore. I don't need that. I don't need that service anymore. I don't need that supportive measure anymore. But that's not true, because life continues and we don't know what we're going to face. We don't know what change is going to be ahead. We don't know what road construction warning sign is going to come our way. And we need to have our safety in place so that we can shift ourselves, whether it's the grounding technique. We talked about grounding on Friday, how to ground if I'm faced with a distress of situation, if I'm faced with the moment that my emotions are all over the place, if I'm triggered because I just saw something and now it's bringing me to a place where now I'm triggered to operate in the old behaviors, regardless to what those unhealthy behaviors are. I'm triggered to operate in that behavior again. The thought hits me so hard, I'm not even trying to remember. It's just automatic recall. And then my body and my emotions give a response. And sometimes we're standing, we're sweating. Sometimes our hands are climbing. Sometimes our mouth gets watering. Many times we experience different things, and then we don't have a resource. We don't have a coping mechanism to get us through that unsafe period. So now we want to recognize the safety. So even if I have to try my grounding technique in order to get my emotional place back up to gear, to get centered for the moment until I can physically be placed in that safe place. So thank you so much for that. When you see it, I got to know where I can go. What about lying? When we find ourselves lying again, one thing about life change, we have to be honest. We have to be open. We have to be transparent with ourselves and others. So when we find ourselves lying, let's put ourselves in that safe place. Lying is that red flag. I don't know if maybe you've acknowledged it as a red flag in your life, but it can be that red flag. And so when we notice it, remember, faith without works is dead. So now we're going to go ahead and change it. I'm going to now identify it, and I'm going to do something about it. And I'm going to walk in honesty. I'm going to read a few others. Negative feelings acted out. That's a red flag. When I start operating in my negative feelings, just feel negative and I'm just acting them out without consequence. I'm canceling my sessions where my supportive systems, my therapy systems, my Joy Life Center appointments and groups, I'm canceling those needful things out suddenly. That's a red flag possibly for you. When I start isolating, I don't want to be around, I don't want to be reliable, I don't want to be responsible. What about if I becoming very passive? Why bother? Whatever. Are any of those any of your red flags? And what can you do, or what do you do about it? Please unmute your phone and share.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I was trying to get off of mute for a moment. Um, if I could just back up just a little bit, with isolation, you know, have been a problem, a red flag. Um, you know, feeling like being all alone. And I believe that comes from, for me, it came from always not being included in
Okay.
certain things. So when I grew up, that's just kind of what I took on for my own self, being called the black sheep of the family. And because I am different and I know I'm different, it's like never fitting in. So, you know, that became a part of my life as far as isolation. You know, I just be by myself. I just isolate,
Mhm.
but today my green flag would be, more or less talking to people, getting out there, you know, uh, especially with those that I know I could trust,
Okay.
you know.
Mm,
So that was one. Hungry, being hungry, it's a red flag,
Yeah.
Even though I don't eat a lot and I ain't always want to eat and everything like that, but sometimes when I am hungry, when
Mhm.
I am hungry and I can't find something to eat, that could be a red flag. But a green flag is prepare some things.
Yes.
Have it already prepared. So all you got to do is just go and put your head on it.
Yeah.
Because me, when I'm hungry, I'm just hungry and I don't feel like going in there. I don't feel like fixing the food and all that kind of stuff. But if it's already ready, then I can nip that red flag, pull that red flag out.
Yes.
It was another you said about um
Cancel
having
appointments.
having too much to do or something.
Oh, too much free time. Although
Get too
having too much to do is one too.
Yeah, too much free time is not good for me.
Okay.
I have to have something to do, but also having too much to do is not good for me. So finding that middle place
Yes.
where I don't overload my plate and then I become overwhelmed.
Yeah.
That's a red flag. Being overwhelmed because now I put too much on my plate and now I can't do all of this.
Mhm.
So now I feel whatever my feeling is for that particular situation. So yeah, that too. So instead of overloading my plate, I learned now I'm only gonna do this, that, and this.
Okay.
This, that, and that gonna have to wait for another day
Yes.
because I can't do all this in no one day and still be healthy
Right.
and still have time for hours. I just can't do all of that in one day. So
Yeah.
yeah, I had to learn that and actually learn it the hard way because I am one of those that want to help everybody.
Okay.
I want to help everybody. I want to make sure everybody good. And sure, I do that and I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll do that. Yeah. But I had to put up the red light. Stop.
Right.
You can't do all of that for everybody. So yeah, that would be something else. And I think that's all I had to say it right now.
All right. Thank you, Bianca. Thank you, because we're not good for anyone else if we're not taking care of ourselves. So when we see ourselves overdoing our plate, like you said, I find that not having enough to do is dangerous for me. Too much free time is dangerous for me. But at the same time, finding that healthy balance, finding that boundary, because if I add too much to my plate, I'm going to get the same, I'm going to end up in danger as well, just on another end. I'm going to be overwhelmed. I'm going to be stressed out. So that's awesome that you have identified those things. Thank you. Anyone else in the red flags that I just mentioned? What are your green flags? How do you put yourself back in safety? How do you cope with your red flag rather than to just allow it to happen and find yourself in a relapse situation, reoccurring those old behaviors, redoing and revisiting those old behaviors? What do you do when you see the red flag coming, or when you see that red flag? That's a cue. So now how am I going to respond to it? What do you do? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
Yeah, hi. Just a little now. I have a lot of red flags.
Okay.
But isolation is not really one of them.
Okay.
I don't take it as isolation. I take it as separation.
Oh, okay.
Because I could have a lot of negative feelings of just not having slept well. And I still have to do the mom responsibilities. I still have to get the kids up. I still got to make sure that they go to school. Still got to make sure that they eat, I eat, and so forth. And if I already did not sleep well,
Mhm.
I'm already in a bad mood.
Okay.
So first of all, acknowledging I haven't slept well. I'm not in the greatest of mood. I love you guys, but you know what? Give me time to adjust.
Yes.
Even if it's just taking you guys to school with no one talking. Can we
Okay.
please just not talk? Can we please just not have the radio on, because it's already irritating me?
Okay.
So just being aware. Mine is a lot
Yeah.
of awareness. But me, it's a lot of awareness. But after I drop them off, it's me time.
Okay.
Don't do anything, Lorena. Go get half an hour, more of rest. If it's not sleep, just lay down, because then I am a bomb waiting to explode.
Oh, okay.
So just being aware of that, and I use a lot of grounding. My feelings are not always forever. They're, I acknowledge, why am I feeling this way? Okay, I haven't slept well. Even if I woke up late, I'm running late, just acknowledge, start saying, okay, what can I do? So let me just plan, drop them off, get home, lay it down.
I love
So
it.
yeah.
Oh, don't stop. Don't stop on my account.
Well, I mean, I could go on forever because I have, like I said, I have a lot of red flags. I know, for one, there are family members that I cannot be with them a long period of time or at all. There's some that I can't be with them no matter what. That is just a high and by, because when we get into conversations, you're a trigger for me,
Yes.
and I can't have that. And one of those is my mom. I don't have a great relationship with my mom because she wasn't really a mother to me.
Okay.
And she still wants that title.
Ah.
And that triggers me, like, you don't deserve it, no. And that's a red flag for me. Like, okay, I can't be around her, not because I don't love her, but because we're not in the same mental space anymore. And
No.
I'm learning how to guard my heart.
Yeah.
No longer guarding yours, I'm guarding mine.
Yeah.
So she's one of those. And then I have family members that still drink.
Mhm.
No, I don't judge them for drinking. Hey, if that's how you can get by, cool. I can't.
Right.
I can't. I know if I drink, that's, I wake up a monster that needs to stay dormant.
Exactly.
So I know that I can't be around them for a long period of time. Once they start drinking and, behaviors start popping up, that's a red flag for me, Lorena. Go home. You already saw them. You already spent time. Let's go.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be okay. So I have to be aware of, once I start feeling that uncomfortableness, it's time to do something for Lorena.
Yes.
And
I
of course,
love that.
it goes with everything. So thank you for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing that. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. You really walked out the importance it is to identify me, not someone else's story, not what someone else could do. Oh, child, you can go ahead and it's just a little red wine. It's good for your blood. You can go and come on to this party. I know that you don't get down like that. You ain't got to do nothing. But knowing our red flags, knowing our limitations, knowing what cues us to say, no, because if I don't know, then I don't know to cope with my moment. I don't know how to cope with my moment, because what I'm doing is just, again, aimlessly walking through life as if I don't have all these years of past experience that has taught me that that's not a good thing. When I go to my family's house, when it starts raising the roof a little bit, I know that it's time to go. What does that tell me? That I'm going to plan ahead, that I'm going to see my family for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then I'm going to leave. Because after that, that's when the red flags start popping. I love that. Thank you so much. What about, guys, when you find yourself cynical? All of a sudden you start having all this bad negative responses. You're cynical and sarcastic about everything. What about when you stop fighting PTSD symptoms? You may say, I don't have PTSD, but some of you may have been diagnosed and you have the symptoms, and you don't even try to fight the disassociation. You don't even try to fight or make a way for healing of the trauma that the traumatic experience has brought. Sometimes we just give up. What about when we're not learning new coping skills? I don't want to hear about grounding, Miss Jackson. I don't want to hear about that. Have any of those been a red flag to you? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
This is Lorena again.
Okay.
And yes, those are red flags for me. I have suffered with chronic depression and PTSD due to that depression. So if I'm not, again, it's going to go back to the awareness, aware of my body. Why am I getting tense? Why am I getting sweaty?
Yeah.
Why am I feeling uncomfortable with something said?
Wow.
Did I see something? Did I smell something?
Yeah.
You know, and I try to analyze and just examine. Okay, what led to this point right here and right now? And then again, having that self-talk. Okay, Lorena, you're not over there. You're here.
Yes.
And let's get grounded. And I've learned that my safe spot is my home.
Okay. Okay.
And so, like I said, it's not isolation, it's separation. So
Mm.
I always come here, you know, I come to my room and I put it all in open. Okay, what happened from point A to point B that
Okay.
triggered me? Or
Right.
why don't I want to take care of this?
Okay.
Because sometimes the feelings are overwhelming, you know, that I haven't fully processed
Right.
some trauma
Mhm.
and feelings are coming up. And I have to stop and acknowledge that maybe I wasn't there a few minutes ago, but I don't have to take care of everything at that moment.
Okay.
At least identify what's going on with me
Mhm.
and prepare myself to target it. So yeah, thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you again. That's amazing. You know, I like that. I like how you have these this identification of what takes us out of our safety, because that's what it's all about. It's all about being safe. We can't reach life change if we're unhealthy, if we're unsafe, if we're not in a place where we can get our mental health taken care of or our physical health taken care of, if we're, you know, exposed to exploitation and we're still in these toxic relationships, you know, how is it that we're going to be in safety? The red flags are blaring. We see the red flags. We know these red flags. These are cues that's telling us, that's screaming at us, you don't want to go through this again. You don't want to do this. Remember in the chapters of our life that we read earlier this morning. Now, it's one thing when I didn't know and I walked in, I fell in that hole. It's another thing that I didn't know after I fell into it and I hadn't identified how. But now I'm in a chapter of my life where not only do I identify how, I identify what steps I took to get here, and I realize that I have the power to change it. I have the power to change it. I have the power to change it. And if I have the power and the faith to change it, then let me operate in some works. Let me now put my best faith foot forward. When I start seeing these danger signs, when I start seeing these red flags, I know where they're taking me. Why am I just being taken? I gotta stop and I gotta apply some works. What about,
Wait a
go ahead, go ahead.
let me say this. Let me say this, counselor,
Yes.
that sometimes for a person doing all this work,
Mhm.
not all, but quite a few, their PTSD is not their fault. Somebody did things to them.
Mhm. Yeah.
And one of the things I have heard and have experienced, why I have to do all this work. Why do I have to do all of this?
Yes.
And you were talking about when people just kind of stop and they just kind of give up. They may not necessarily go run and use, but they go ahead and devolve or fall into a funk, fall into a depression, go into different behaviors for a while.
Yes.
Uh, and they ask, like, why do I have to do all of this?
Mhm.
And it is work to recover from various issues.
Yes.
It is work to recover from mental illness. It is work to recover from post traumatic stress disorder. It is work to recover from the feelings that drive us to the next dope run or the next drinking bout.
Mhm,
It
mhm.
is work. It is work. And a lot of times you don't feel like doing, I don't feel like doing all this work today.
Right.
That's a big one there. That's a big one there. Like I've had people who were literally have been victims of various things, and how they ended up responding or their coping mechanism when they was able to get free
Mhm.
was to fall into substance abuse and then addiction and alcoholism. And then
Okay.
they ask, why do I have to do all this work? They did this to me.
Right.
That's I just wanted to point that out. That's quite common, ma'am.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for pointing that out. Absolutely. Sometimes we don't have the energy, we don't have the belief, we don't have the faith, we don't feel that we should have to. We feel these different variables that come through our way in our patterns of thought that restrict us from doing the work that we need to do. Like we're talking about today, the red flags. Once I acknowledge red flags, these are those familiar things that blur in my face to let me know danger, danger, danger. But instead of doing something about it, instead of grounding, instead of breaking cycles, instead of dismissing people out of our friend circle, instead of doing anything, sometimes we do nothing because just like the sheriff was sharing, because sometimes it's just a matter of, I don't feel that I should have to, or that's too hard. So thank you so much for sharing that. What about when you become physically sick, or you spend time with people who use, or you cannot hear feedback? You have too much responsibility. Think people are trying to make you look and feel bad. Any of those are red flags. Anyone?
Too much responsibility. That's a red flag for me. Yes, I once again I'm with the awareness, right?
Right.
That I'm stretching myself thin sometimes. And I gotta verbalize it even in my own home, especially in my own home. Like, baby, you asking for too much. You
Yeah.
know, you're asking for too much. Can we save it for another day? Can we save it for another week? I really
Yeah.
cannot. And they're like, well, you're not doing anything. I'm like, no, I'm taking care of me.
Hey.
I'm like, you may see me not doing anything, but I am taking care of me. I've stretched myself thin, and I gotta take this time for me.
Yes. Oh, I love that. But you're not doing anything. Oh, yes, I am. I'm taking care of me. And that's beautiful, because if we don't take the time to do what's necessary to take care of us, then how are we going to do the things that we're purposed to do in this life, the things that we're responsible to do in this life? If we don't take care of us, we have to put our mask on first before we can help another. Remember, as I was sharing, if in the unfortunate event that a plane goes down, they're going to tell you, put your mask on first. Why? Because when I put my mask on first, it ensures my survival of breathing, that is. But now I can help others, that I have the breath, I have the life, I have the vibrancy to now utilize myself and my services for someone else, because I first taken care of myself. Because those whispers, remember those whispers, some of these red flags that we experience are sometimes just whispers. Sometimes they're just the whispers of saying, hey, trouble's ahead. If you continue in this direction, trouble is ahead. But as you get closer and closer and closer to that trouble, those whispers begin to become screams. Don't go there. Those things that tell us, that warn us, hey, no, don't go there. Your life is at stake. You don't want to relapse into those old behaviors. So thank you so much for that. Some other red flags, guys. What about when you're spending time with people that operate in the compulsive behavior that you're trying to overcome right now? What about when you cannot hear feedback? When you get to that place, you don't want to hear what nothing nobody got to say. Just don't want to hear it. Think people are trying to make you look or feel bad, or you stop caring, you stop trying, you become arrogant, full of euphoria, or you're absent from work or school. Anybody have those as red flags? And what do you do to put yourself back in safety? Go ahead, unmute your phone and share.
This is Lorena again.
Go ahead.
And what I have, one of my red flags is sometimes I can't hear anything.
Okay.
I'm in such a mood that you can say something and I still don't hear you, even though I can hear you. So once again, I'm being aware of it. Like, I am not in a mental space to hear you. Can we pick this up some other time? Or I'll call you when I'm ready.
Yes. I love that. Yes. Yes. Being aware of what you can handle and what you can't. Being aware of your mental space and where you are in that. On 1 to 10, how am I doing? Because if I'm not doing too well, that's a red flag. And I need to change some things. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I would like to say, as I was listening to Sister Lorena,
Mhm.
I just want to say she got a lot of information, and it's very needed.
Yeah.
Just some of the things that she was saying, and
Mhm.
even though it's things that she's going through, it definitely would help people. You
Yeah.
know, but when I was listening, I was thinking about the stretching so thin.
Mhm.
And I got 10 kids. You know,
Okay.
half grown, half not grown, but 10 nonetheless.
Right.
And so, it'd be pulled in all kinds of directions, and mama this and auntie this and mama, auntie, it's like, ooh, we. And I'm too one of those that's like, oh wait, give me a moment.
Yes.
I can't do that now. But you ain't doing nothing. If I'm not doing nothing because I don't want to do nothing.
I choose not to do nothing.
Choose not to do nothing. If I sit on my bed and watch TV, I'm doing something for hours. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, the thing about it is with me, it's like I find my comfort in, and I guess my safe place. I find my safe place and my comfort in my ministry.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, things it never. I can't say that I just get so,
Mhm.
with it. It's like I don't know. It's just my peace.
Okay.
So if I can find myself doing something in that area,
Mhm.
it kind of helps me to in other areas.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
So that that's one of my safe places. That's my safe places. Doing something in the ministry or doing something that I know that needs to be done or something of that sort, and it kind of level off all this other stuff that may be overbearing at that particular time. So that's what I wanted to say too.
Yes, excellent. Excellent. I love that. Because giving back, is always something that we can do, like you were saying, when you have too much free time, giving back, working your ministry is basically serving God's people. I'm giving back. God's put me in a safe place. And now I see some red flags. So instead of focusing on the red flag, I'm going to identify to be aware, like Sister Lorraine has been saying all day, being aware, what's going on inside of me, what's going on in my mind, what's going on in my emotions, what's going on in my physicality, what's going on, and being able to identify that this is what's going on and do something about it. What can I do about it? What can I do about it? Maybe it's a situation you're hands off to, that you can't do anything about it. It's not within my power or authority to do anything about. So what I have to do, I have to accept that it is, and then I'm going to restructure my steps. So either I won't have to come back here again, this way again, or I'm just going to accept that when I get here, there's going to be some things that are maybe could be triggering. There's going to be some things that are distressing, but everyone has to identify what they are made of. What does it take to destroy me? Because if I identify that, if I know what it takes to destroy me, then guess what? I'll also know what it takes to thrive and live, because I'm not going to bow to the destruction. I'm going to know my circle. I'm going to know where it is that I've stretched myself too thin. I'm going to know, where it is that I need to sit me down and get some self-help. That's good. That's good. Excellent. Excellent. Well, let's devise a safety plan.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure, Bianca, please.
And another thing, like as far as learning how to cope and learning new coping skills, that was something that I didn't do. It was something that I didn't know how to do it. I guess it was just something that I didn't want to know how to do either. Anyway, because I felt like whatever I was doing, it was good enough. It was getting me from point A to point B. But after really opening up myself and really realizing, no, you need some form of outlet.
Right.
You need some form of more information.
Yes.
These different things to help you. You don't have it all. You don't know it all. And what you've been working with all down through these years, you might think you might have gotten away with it, or it has gotten you thus far, and it has. But how much farther you could be if you go ahead and open up and receive the information that's given to you. So I had to kind of decrease, and be able to receive these different techniques that that you can use that will work if you work it.
Yes.
And so I found out I am a living example, a living witness that some of these examples and some of these techniques do work. It do work, but you just got to be open. I had to be open to receive it, because at first it was just a bunch of like, what? No, that ain't gonna work for me. I've been doing this for so long, and it's gotten me thus far, and that's all I need. But again, once I open myself up and begin to receive the information and to know, guess what? You do need help. There's some areas that you've been battling for years, and put that little band-aid over it, but the wound is still opened up. You've been dealing with that for a long time, and you haven't even healed. That's the scab haven't even came back on there. Get the information that you need. Get the help that you need, and let that wound heal correctly.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So learning how to cope was one of my things too. I didn't know how. I just thought whatever I was doing, it worked, and so we're gonna move forward from there.
Taking us from survival to maintenance, maintaining the course of our life, not just surviving moments, but having those survival techniques or survival, whatever you use, it worked for you then. It worked for you and it worked great. But now here it is, reaching out. I need more. I don't know it all. I need some more techniques, some more information, some more knowledge. I love that. Thank you. Anyone else?
Coping skills. Journal writing,
Uh-huh.
it helps
Yeah.
somewhat. Or if nothing else, is a record of what happened. Now, I found myself that same situation I told you. I found myself out of town going to an AA meeting. I also found myself doing an unhealthy coping mechanism.
Okay.
Instead of running to the dope house or to the liquor store, I found myself up in the store.
Okay.
That now, see, I know I switched addictions. I know I switched addictions between isolation. Well, isolation because it's like if if we're not on the same page, I don't see no reason for us hanging out.
Okay. Right.
I just don't see no reason. I haven't met my yoke fellow yet. I have not met my yoke fellow yet.
Mhm.
All these years, I have not met my yoke fellow. I have went to assist in various outreach, but see, I do not look at doing ministry as a personal outlet. It's they're separate.
Right.
To me, they're separate. See, a lot of us will make the. To me, it's a mistake of trying to take your ministry and make that your life.
Okay.
You got to have a life that can't be because like you don't want the borders crossing. I can't quite describe what I'm trying to say,
Mhm.
but a lot of people will use their ministry to replace life,
Right.
and I refuse to do that. One of my mentors that I've listened to, a woman of God, she said you can't. There's not. It's just not going to. It's not healthy. And
Right.
basically, it's not healthy because a lot of, especially women, we do it, and it's not good. But anyway, ministry is one thing.
Hmm.
Uh, Outlets and stuff is another. Like one of my outlets that I
Right.
did have that was healthy, I can no longer afford that outlet because I've got other demands on my resources. And
Okay.
I crossed paths with somebody today, and I was on a mission this morning. God had me on a mission, and everybody came by to distract me while I was on this serious mission delivering this word. And
Wow.
this one guy that I crossed paths with, he does this particular outlet, but it's in another county, and I can't afford to drive him back and forth. I can't
Okay.
afford it, and it hurts because it was my exercise. It
Ah,
really
okay.
hurts. I can't afford it. And it really, really hurts. It's heartbreaking. And it was a stress outlet too.
Yes.
It was a physical outlet, a stress outlet, all of that. But I
Yeah.
can't afford it. I'm in a position where I just can't afford to do it. And it aches my heart. It really does. It just really aches my heart. But coping skills, like sometimes you got to do a triage.
Okay.
A triage. Like, for instance, okay, I really don't have no young children in my life or anything like that.
Mhm.
But I have to do a triage. I had one child telling me this, that, and the other, and then you expect me to come dip my little finances in your little pocket and try to bail you out. And I
Right.
had to say to myself, I didn't say it to them, but I just said to myself, no.
No.
I said, but I told them, you're gonna have to let the thing you're in, it's gonna have to run its course till it beats you.
Yes. Yes.
It's just gonna have to run its course, and I'm gonna have to pull my hand out of it because this ain't gonna cost me nothing. I'm sorry, that's your thing. It's your thing.
Yes.
Do what you want to do with it, and I'm gonna pray for your survival and keep living. Um, you have to do a triage. Like sometimes when you got the kids that are underage that you got to deal with, yeah. And I got another situation. I'm gonna have to figure out the triage on that because it's overwhelming. It stopped me dead in my tracks today. I didn't even make it to school like before 9 a.m. they had me going. By 8 a.m. they had me going, and I should have been at school.
Okay.
And it's become a pattern. And I'm like, I got to need this class to graduate. But anyway, the coping skills. I gotta stop that go-to. I've been eating too much. And when I went to the store, I saw myself, here your little drug addict buddies up in here again. And well, I'm gonna try to make it. And then I'm talking to myself. Let's make it a small binge,
Okay.
because you need something to make you feel better. With my, you know, and you know what? And the disease of addiction, it will manifest itself in so many ways. And
Yes,
every time you could be going on, sometimes stressful stuff is going on, and all of a sudden that taste pop in your mouth. If you a real addict like I was, if you the real deal, that taste will pop in your mouth. Or the thought that maybe picking up a bottle of liquor might not be a bad idea today.
right.
But
Right.
the devil is a liar. I had to shout a rebuke that devil is a liar.
That's right.
Cause I ain't trying to start that. We ain't trying to get back on that train again. So
No,
so sometimes you just got to sit with your feelings and ride it out.
write it
Yep.
out.
Sit with your
Yeah.
feelings and ride it out and cry, pray. One of my I'm gonna say this, and one of my friends in recovery used to say this, and I never forgot what she said. And I'm talking about well back in '88.
Mhm.
She said, sometimes you just got to ball up in that fetal position and on the floor, on your bed, or wherever, and just ball up and cry
That's
until
right.
it passes.
Yeah.
Rather than you go out the door acting out or acting up on how you
Yeah.
feel or what's going on. Sometimes you just have to get in that fetal position. What she said, you got to rock with it.
Wow. You're absolutely right. Wow. Thank you so much for that. You are absolutely right. Many times, um, we don't know what to do, and we just got to make sure that we're okay while we're trying to figure it out. We want to make sure that we, like she was saying, just sometimes have to just kind of walk it out. But this is how come we need to find out what are these red signs so that we can put ourselves in a place of safety before those things, before we get to a severe part of a place where now we're tripping over our own feet, we're relapsing. So we want to be mindful. And some ways to do that, and I'm going to read some of my notes here, because red flags are messages of distress, danger, danger. Remember that robot back in the days? Well, it was back in my day. Danger, danger. There's danger ahead. These are our red flags. They tell us danger, danger. It's not a robot, but it's your inner conscious man that's showing you these danger signs. Again, like if you are meeting someone for the first time and you went out on a date and you find that they have some of the same actions, behaviors, some of the things that they're enjoying are things that you don't enjoy, things that are triggering as dangerous for you. Those red flags that saying, hey, danger, danger. He's ordering a drink. That's something that you don't want to do. He's arguing with the waiter. That's something you're not into anymore. So therefore, maybe some of those people as well need to be distant from our lives. So with those red flag, I want you to remember this called budding. And when we talk about budding, budding is an acronym BUD, budding. And that sometimes means that I'm building up to drinking, or I'm building up to do my destructive behavior. I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to acknowledge the red flag for what it is. And then I'm going to put myself in safety. I'm going to utilize my coping skill to get me through this emotional moment of distress. And I'm going to place myself in safety. Also remember, help from others is essential, because as we continue in the unhealthy behavior, we become more and more close to danger. Danger is going to escalate. I heard someone say that they really felt bad because they were staying on Skid Row in Los Angeles, California, and there was a man in a tent sleeping, and someone just came and lit fire to his tent while he was inside sleeping, and he caught a fire, and he was, of course, screaming for his life. No one was able to help him because of the intensity of the flames, unfortunately. And the person that was powerless, they said, I just wanted to go fast, so the person won't suffer. At least just let it just go fast. And they said that the fire went just like that. So we find sometimes danger, if we don't recognize the red flags, it's just like a fire. It goes just like that. You know, you started and you said, oh, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to put some an extinguisher on it after a while. But if we don't take care of it, it's going to build up to more and more danger, more and more distress. If we don't deal with those red flags, it's going to build up. Another thing that I would like to share with you is, you know, getting help from others, again, before the danger escalates. I like how someone said today, reach out. Don't just rely on what's in you. We are all living epistles, but none of us is the whole book. We're just a part of the book. So reach out and get help, whether it's from a professional or whether it's from a friend that you trust and have confidence in, whether it's from someone that you maybe don't know, but you're confident in this area. They're not a treater, they're not a professional, but you believe somehow they can help you. Sometimes you can just start talking to someone and they'll begin to share with you some information, not even knowing it, but you need that information. I was at, I had taken my little one to a picture taking event, and my sister-in-law and myself were just, you know, standing there talking, and a young lady, one of the other parents, walked by, and she began to just start talking to us, and we were just kind of laughing and talking. And out the blue, my sister-in-law is not looking for a school for her little one, but out the blue, she just said, hey, you know, is your son in high school? And she just started talking about this high school, and she started talking about all the benefits of the high school and what a wonderful place it is. And I remember saying, hey, I remember looking at the reviews at that high school, at that school, because I was looking for a middle school for my little one, because they cover middle and high school, but they had such bad reviews. And I didn't take it any further. Instead, I just listened to I just read the reviews instead of going to take the tour, instead of reaching out for more information. And guess what? From what she said about the school, it had everything that my youngster needed. So I felt really bad, but I was blessed by the moment, that divine intervention moment. So now I have some information that now, if I need to know about that resource again, now if I need that help again, I can now go back and recall, wow, I got this help from a stranger. So now let me go and check out that information. So we have to be able to seize the moments that God does for us, that we can't do for ourselves. We seize the moment where the information is poured down on us. Or like Bianca said, I start looking for the information. I start asking questions. I start reaching outside of myself and reaching out for assistance. Another thing that we want to do is, again, listen to the whispers of what we need before they become screams. Listen to the whispers. You know, Sister Lorena talked about when I don't eat. And I already know that that's not good for me. So let me listen to the whispers. I'm going to listen to my feelings of irritation. I'm going to listen to my feelings of discontentment, you know, my uneasy feelings. And guess what? I'm going to meet my needs. Like she said, I'm going to go, I'm not going to do another thing. I'm going to, if I can't take a nap, I'm going to at least get some rest for myself. I'm going to have a meal. If I didn't get enough sleep, I'm going to at least do something to bring me some rest and comfort. Because if I don't, guess what? It's going to become bad. My needs are going to become loud and they're going to scream. So now, instead of the mere irritation that is felt, now I'm screaming. Now I'm out of control. Now I'm negative. Now I'm cynical. Now I'm just being irritable, and I'm irritating everyone in the room. Now I'm in the depression. Now I'm all of that because I didn't stop and identify the whispers of what I need. What are your needs today? How can I acknowledge my red flags and implement some coping skills so that I can put myself back into the green, back into that safety place? Also, we want to realize that we want to notice when we're spiraling down. We want to notice that, because if we don't notice when we're spiraling down, we can just get to that place called here, that place that's uncomfortable, that place that's full of distress, full of emotional pain, because why? We didn't notice the spiraling. We didn't notice that we were on our way down. Find the notice point. Find the PowerPoint where I can put brakes on and take care of me. Implement some coping. Recognize the red flags. Recognize them, because if I don't recognize the red flags, then I cannot help myself. And I'm just going to spiral down. So I want to ask you, what are one of your red flags that you have maybe identified today, or you thought of in the course of our group? What is that red flag, and what are you going to do about it to put yourself in safety? I'd like to hear from each of you. Go ahead and unmute your phone and share.
God bless you. This is Sister Lorena. Well, I heard a lot of red flags. And like I mentioned before, I have a lot of red flags, but my background comes from childhood trauma to substance abuse, to adolescent trauma, and just a lot of trauma, a lot of unfortunate things.
Wow.
However, I'm responsible not for what happened to me, but what happens from this moment on for me. So keeping that in mind, just using the grounding, the awareness, and actually using my coping skills, because sometimes I don't want to use them. Sometimes I want, the FX.
Yeah.
And what I have to acknowledge that when I have the FX, it's not F it, it's F me. I'm putting myself, out of the equation. And I have to remind myself all the time that I am worth the work.
That's right. Wow.
So yeah, thank you for letting me share that.
Thank you for sharing that. I love that. Oh, wow. Thank you, Sister Lorena. Because I'm not just saying F it, but what I'm really saying is F me. I'm not worth it. I thank you for that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? What is your red flag? And what is your coping skill to bring yourself back to safety?
Well, I've got to find a way to figure out how to afford my outlet.
Okay.
And I'm angry about it. I'm hurt about it because I had just picked it back up. This has been like from my childhood years, and now I can't afford to go because gas is prohibited. And it's about $20 a session.
Okay.
That adds up.
Yes.
And I'm trying to figure out how I can get that outlet back, because that was all I had. That was all I had. And see, they think the people that are depending on me to do certain things, they think I can handle all this stress, and they don't know.
Okay.
And they don't know. They think I can handle it. I guess they think that I should be able to handle all this. But no, but I'm gonna have a hard either tonight. It's gonna have to be tonight, I don't really want to go
Okay.
because the gas is prohibitive. But um, I'm gonna have to have a hard talk tonight. I don't care. Everybody wake up, have a cup of coffee, let's talk. Um, I really don't know. I like to find me like I feel like I'm in a corner,
Oh,
but it's not a corner that I'm willing to like go pick up or go into self destruct mode.
mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that. You know, you know. I don't even know, counselor. I don't even know. Um, but I know that whatever it is, I'm not going back into self destruct mode.
Okay.
That's the main thing. And but I'm not going. I gotta not give in to the urge to eat my emotions
Okay. Yeah.
or to eat the feelings because I know how to go in the kitchen and make something and eat the feelings,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or not to go shopping away the feelings. That's
Yeah.
another one. Like no, yes, that don't you start that foolishness again. Um, I don't know, but I know one thing we're gonna keep going,
Yes.
and I drop in the meetings every now and then. I'm not in there all the time because I look at the 12-step meeting. Okay, they think it's a spiritual program. Maybe it is for them, but
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's just behavior modification
Okay.
and a safe, a somewhat safe place. I can't share everything there, not at all, but I may share on the surface there
Right.
sometimes. I listen to others going through some of the similar things that I'm dealing with. That's the biggest value of 12-step meeting. That's
Yes.
the
A
biggest
support.
value. Yeah, that or that you're listening to others that are coping with different things that you're going through or will be
Yeah.
going through, have gone through. Yes,
Have
ma'am.
the infirmity. Mm-hmm. Yep. Did we lose her? She
Yeah, no, like getting in the middle of the herd, just getting in the middle of the herd of everybody. I like to be if I'm gonna be around some folk. I may not always be around church folk, but I like to be around people that either church folk or people that's fighting for their life and they're doing everything they can to fight for their lives. So when it comes to those aspects, like certain things that are push on them emotions and
mm-hmm.
push on you enough that might push you into a self-destruct mode, that I will get up and go to a meeting. I will get up and go to a 12-step meeting and, listen to somebody who's going through similar things that I'm going through. And that's the value of getting in the middle of the herd of recovery.
Wow. I love that. I love that. That's something else I've picked up today. Getting in the middle of the herd, because right now I need safety. I need safety. And the Bible tells us about, in the multitude of counsel, there is safety. So I want to get into that safety. I love that. I love that. I'd never heard that, but that you're absolutely right. Getting in the middle of the herd. Thank you so much for that. And maybe, as we're continuing, I love how she talked about one of the things is I am not going back to those old behaviors. I'm not going back to that level of distress. So just please continue to add more coping skills in your toolbox. More tools, more abilities to cope, more skills. And I hate that you can't make it to where you usually go to kind of cope and release. But I also understand that that may be a sign that you need a few more other places where you need to be able to cope and release some other things to do, some other places to go, some other people to interact with so that you can have that place, those coping skills to put yourself back in safety. So thank you so much for that. Bianca, let's hear from you, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get ready to close out for the day. Bianca, what are some of the red flags that you've either acknowledged today or maybe already kind of dealt with? And what is the coping skill that you use in order to cope with that red flag so that you can stay in safety?
Um, definitely continue getting the coping skills that I need.
Okay.
Um, those that I have, they do work, but if there's more out there, I would love to hear about them also, you
Yes.
know, to add to my backpack. And
Yes.
so also with the food thing, like I said, just preparing some food, taking the time out for me
Mm-hmm.
to prepare some food and just have it on hand.
Yes.
So when I really want to eat some food, I gotta get up, I gotta go cook it, I gotta wait for this, gotta wait for that. It's just already there, pop it in the microwave, bam, there it is.
There it
It's
is.
about appetite. It comes, it goes. And some days it's high, some days it's low. But I need to get it together. So wherever it is, I can be ready for it at
Right.
all times.
Good, good.
And so then the next thing would be also to pay attention to that little small voices that's crying out saying, help.
Yeah. Take
Those little,
care of me.
yeah, take care of you.
Yeah.
Do for you. Okay. The kids are good. This is good. That's good. What about you?
Yeah.
Take your vitamins. Take
Yeah.
it in. Eat right. Get enough sleep. Those things can go a long way. They might not fix every problem, but they definitely will fix some of the problems. So those are the things that I'm so serious. Those are some of the things I'm going to do.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's right. Take care of yourself. And let's be sensitive enough to our own needs that we can hear them while they're still whispers. Because if we ignore the whisper, we ignore the red flag, we're going to go right head on into danger. Danger of those old behaviors, danger of the old emotional state, danger of the ill places. We don't want to repeat those things unnecessarily. So let's acknowledge these red flags and let's gather a plethora of coping skills. We can pull some up on the web. We can buy books. We can Google coping skills to keep from emotional distress, coping skills to keep from relapse, drug relapse, coping skills to keep from relapse on drinking, relapse on enabling, coping skills. What can I do? Search it out. There's information for us that we need so that we can stay in safety. It's all about safety. And guess what? If you need a place to go, if you need a place to turn to, I want you to know that you can come. Uh-oh. Right here, Joy Life Center, Coaching and Consulting. We're working to increase our hours in-house so that you'll have that safe place to come. When you see that banner, when you see that logo, you know there's safety on the other side. There's safety within the building. If you see it on a teleconference, if you see it on a Facebook group, if you see it on the web, you know that's a safe place for you. So I am so grateful that all of you called and chimed in today. And I'm going to just read a little bit as we do our final thought today. Our final thought today will come from a book called Walk in Dry Places. Today is October 10th. And if I take a look, October 10th talks about putting our trust in people. And it reads about trust. How much should we trust other people? This is an important question because many of us have erred in both directions. We've trusted people too much or we've trusted people not enough. We can find our answer in the spiritual side of the program, of church, of the principal, we do have a God in whom we can have absolute trust. We can have little doubt that the spiritual presence behind everything is infallible and supreme. As human beings, we know that we can only be trusted in certain ways. We can work to develop our trustworthiness, but it is never high enough, even with the strongest soul. All of us have weaknesses that can keep us from being what we know to be our best. So in our lives, we should work to develop trust in both ourselves as well as in others, but not be hurt of disappointment when things go wrong. Above all, our real trust should be in God. So today, just for today, I'll work to be trusting and trustworthy, but I'll not expect too much of anybody, including myself. I'm going to have some ease on myself. I'm going to have some faith and some compassion in myself and walk this process out. So guys, thank you so much for chiming in today. It's been great being with you. So look, we'll be here on tomorrow. So please chime in. When you chime in, please have your cameras off, as these recordings will be on a subscription page and people will subscribe to them. And so we want to maintain your confidentiality and your anonymity. So God bless you all. God bless you. And remember, live free. See you tomorrow.